104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports, also your home for Hahn, Humpty, and Canty. We're joined by the middle guy, Rick DiPietro, a.k.a. Humpty. Man, the Islanders take out the Rangers last night. What do you take from that game?
Well, it's amazing, too. And when you look at the Islanders and their success they've had with the Rangers at the Barclays Center, I don't think the Rangers have won a game in Brooklyn yet. So, I mean, that's one positive, I guess, to take with the Islanders moving to Brooklyn. But this Islanders team, the way that they're playing since Doug Way took over, it's something you expect when you change coaches, but is it something that you can sustain? And the way that John Tavares is playing, the way that Ladd is now playing, Anders Lee. I mean, Anders Lee, actually, if you look at it, going back to November 23rd, he's second in the NHL in goals scored. He's got 21 goals since November 23rd. So, I mean, this Islanders team right now, making their stretch run here towards, hopefully, the playoffs, is clicking at the right time.
Has that rivalry between the Rangers and Islanders lost a bit of its luster because it's being played at the Barclays Center?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the building last night was amazing. Islanders obviously got out early. A couple power plays weren't able to score. It had that feel of a playoff game where it was going to just take, one big mistake, or whoever made the less number of mistakes was going to win that game. But Rangers found a way to make it 1-0 in that first period, and the place erupted with Rangers fans. And then all of a sudden, second period, big play for me in the game was the save Thomas Greiss made on Grabner 14 seconds into that second period. Islanders fans got into it. Islanders found a way to score a couple goals, and the building was awesome last night. It was fun to be a part of that.
Rick DiPietro, we lovingly know him as Humpty right here on 104.5 The Team. So as we move on to hoops, the whole entire Oakley situation, what's going on with him? What are your feelings on him? I'm kind of torn all of a sudden with the way he's been handling it.
Well, I think enough is enough. I think he made his point, and you had fans, you had media. Everyone was on Charles Oakley's side. The more interviews he does, the more it just seems like he's digging himself a deeper and deeper hole here. I think it's smart of James Dolan and Madison Square Garden to kind of just quiet the noise. And I think the reason that Adam Silver had that meeting was because he wanted to put an end to this thing. And before he had that meeting, it didn't look like there was any end in sight. And I think all parties thought that this thing was over, but apparently it's not.
We sit here and we try to wonder why Charles Oakley feels certain ways, and you're a professional athlete. You've played for a franchise before. From either former teammates or maybe even yourself, do a lot of the former jocks, the former pro athletes believe, look, when I go back to a team I used to play for, I hope to be treated fairly nicely at least?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the hope, but I think you also need to realize that, you were paid well as a professional athlete to do your job, and that's what you did. And as a retired player, you'd love to have enough respect from ownership or the organization that you get treated well. But, I mean, if you have a bad relationship with the owner, he is still the owner. And, he kind of equated to if you had a party at your house, and it could be your best friend, it could be someone you just know as a casual friend, but if they act up and they insult you or they insult your wife and you kick them out of your house, you're well within your right to kick them out of your house and not have them back. I think the problem when you look at the NBA now is you see how powerful the players are. That is a players-run league, and I think the owners feel like at some point they need to reassert themselves as the owners. You're not at the same level. We pay you. You're the employees. We're the employer. It was a bad situation. That was a no-win situation for anyone involved.
Hahn, Humpty, and Canty right here on 104.5 The Team. Now we got Humpty with Levack and Goz. When you look at this, like I'm a Knicks fan, Humpty, and is this like the final straw? Is there a point where we can actually get the league to step in and just go, Dolan, we're going to babysit you from now on?
You know what's amazing, though, too, and you saw the Forbes valuations came out. Knicks, $3.3 billion. Last year, $140 million they made with basketball operations. So they're doing just fine. It was funny because we're sitting here days before this Oakley thing happened, and I think it was after the Lakers game where the Knicks just embarrassed themselves. And Tim Legler came out on ESPN and was like, you'd hope this is rock bottom for the Knicks, but I'm not sure it is. And, sure as hell, all of a sudden this Oakley thing happens, and you're sitting here watching this game, and the first tweet I think I read that night, because I think I was off changing a diaper or getting puked on by my son because he's got the flu, is someone that looks like Charles Oakley is getting escorted out, and then you turn the TV on, and you're like, no, that's Charles Oakley. And you see, that whole thing transpire the way it transpires, and you're like, I mean, you didn't think anything could get worse for the Knicks, and then you have it. It did.
Humpty, the Dolan-Oakley beef, probably the second biggest beef in New York City, only second to Canty and Michael K. Is that real? How real is the K-Canty beef?
That was real for a minute. I will say that. It's funny because Chris is, the definition of a philanthropist. I mean, this guy with his time, he's at schools, he's donating money. He's so smart, he's so informed, he does so much out in the community. And he was actually at the Munson Awards to introduce Victor Cruz because he had won the Munson Award. And as he was being introduced, they skimped out on how many years he played in the NFL. They didn't, whoever wrote the card, I guess, I don't know if it was Wikipedia or whatever it is, they left out the years he played in Baltimore. So they didn't have his entire NFL career. They got the fact that he was a Super Bowl champion, which was nice, but they left that out. And then to make matters worse, the next day, because he had said something, they mentioned that he should have felt honored to be at the Munson Awards introducing Victor Cruz. And he was like, honored? I won the award. That's why I was there. I was not honored to be there. I was honored with the award. So he was a little upset at first, but that's the beauty of our station now and the two shows is we all get along, we all have fun, and you know how it is when you have friends. If you're not busting each other's chops, then you're not really close friends. So we have a good time with it.
Right, and we're learning more and more about Chris Canty as he's a part of your guys' show now. Is he an easy guy to tick off, or was it Michael K that was easily set off by this feud?
You know what? It's funny because it wasn't at first something I think that bothered him, but I think CC takes, because you're talking about a guy who played 11 years in the NFL. The average career of the NFL is 3 years if you're lucky. So he had a good run, and he was a guy that won a championship for his hometown team. So I think he was just expecting that because he works on the same station, because they have a relationship, because they're friends, that if you're emceeing an event, you would have the right information. And again, listen, it's not easy to do those kind of things, and you get the cards, you read the cards. But I think he took it to the next level to make it made for good radio. And then leave it to Michael, just completely disarms the thing by coming in early and giving him a big bear hug. But you don't want to be on Michael K's laminated list, I'll tell you that much.
Humpty, of course, part of Han, Humpty, and Canty. Before we let you go, when the Jets season starts, who's their quarterback?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm actually hoping Bryce Petty, to be completely honest with you. We had Rich Cimini on today, and he was talking about the possible guys being cut, and he mentioned Brandon Marshall. Obviously, this whole Darrelle Revis thing. You got Gilchrist, Giacomini. He's even talking about Mangold. So, they have a lot of issues. They have a lot of holes to fill. I don't think they're anywhere close to being a team that's going to compete for the playoffs. So you almost want to and if you look at their schedule, man, they play Atlanta, they play Carolina. This is going to be a tough schedule for this team that you almost want to let the schedule kind of rebuild the team for you. Because when you look at the quarterbacks set to come out in next year's draft, you like the kid from USC, the kid from UCLA. So there'll be a real opportunity there to hopefully address finally after how many years getting a franchise quarterback, which as a Jets fan would be nice.
Rick DiPietro, catch him every day right here on 104.5 The Team. Han, Humpty, and Canty, we appreciate you making some time for us.
Thanks, fellas.